Hello everyone, my name is Enemy 100 and welcome back to my channel. And today we're playing Need for Speed Most Wanted, a Criterion game. Now in this video I'm going to talk about the history with me and Need for Speed. Well, me and Need for Speed games. Gonna go a little in depth to it, talk about it and all that stuff. Similar to what I did in my last video when I talked about Call of Duty. Alright, and we're here. Oh yeah, check out those stats. Mm-mm-mm. Hold on, I gotta do one thing real quick before...
Autolog alert.
Okay, never mind. Okay, so now, just like I did in my last video, in my Call of Duty video, I'm going to talk about the history with me and the Need for Speed franchise, how it started and all that. It'll basically be just like my Call of Duty video, only with this game. So basically, when I think I was 3 or 4, I don't know, I had got a Game Boy Advance SP, and I saw a driving game, and okay, I didn't mean to do that. And it was a Need for Speed game, and it was Need for Speed Underground. I believe it was the first one. And until this day, I still have the game and the handheld system. Oh yeah, got another one. And let me see if I can get this right. Yeah, hold on. All right, good. I think I might switch it to this other car though. But yeah, that was basically my first ever taste of Need for Speed, if you know what I mean. That was the first time I ever played a Need for Speed game, and I never beat it. And then later in life, I had got me a PlayStation 2. The first time, not the second time. I got me a PlayStation 2. This car right here looks badass, but I can't get it because it's in DLC pack. But yeah, later in life, I had got a PlayStation 2, and I ended up getting Need for Speed Carbon or Carbon. I don't know how to say it. I say Carbon or whatever the heck it's called. I don't care if it's the wrong way or the right way, but I got Need for Speed Carbon. And I played that game, and I used to play the ever living hell out of that game. Literally, I used to play, I don't know, I used to play that game all the time. And then I started paying attention, to the, I think I started paying attention to games at that time, so I ended up getting Underground 1 and 2, and I started playing them. And now those games were very, very fun. Back then, those two games were those 3 games were very, very fun. Even though I never beat them, that's the thing. Those 2 games were very fun. And then I had gotten a PlayStation 3, and I remember that's when I started paying attention to the Need for Speed video games, because on that system I had got Need for Speed Hot Pursuit, and I had also gotten, wait, was it Hot Pursuit? Wait, no, it was The Run. I think I got Need for Speed The Run and Hot Pursuit on that system. I might have just gotten Hot Pursuit, but yeah. So I got those 2 games on that system, and no one ever beat them, but I used to play the living crap out of them. And those 2 games were fun, and that's when I really started to pay attention to the Need for Speed franchise. Just so you know, I'm looking for a race here, but I can't find one, so I'm just gonna start one. That's when I really started to pay attention to the Need for Speed video game franchise. So as I started paying attention to it, I can't. Well, I can't. Okay, I gotta drive there. So as I started, so So as I started paying attention to it, I started getting Need for Speed games for Christmas, and I got the Run, then then I got Hot Pursuit, the limited edition, Most Wanted, the limited edition, which is this one right here that you see. And I used to think that the limited edition ones were the ones where you get a limited amount of stuff, but apparently I was wrong. Those editions were the ones where you get more stuff. I got the limited edition of the Run, Hot Pursuit, and Most Wanted. Then they started overpricing them, making them more money and all that stuff. So then, after Most Wanted came out, the next gen video game consoles were also damn. The next gen video game consoles were also coming out, so that's when they kind of rebooted it and made another Need for Speed game. It was just called Need for Speed. That was it. Wait, actually no. Before they had that one, they actually had Rivals, which was good until people got bored with it. But until this day, people do still play it though, because when I had EA Access, I think I had that for free for a little bit. People were actually on there playing it. And these cops will not leave me alone. So I had got Rivals and I played that. Then the next gen consoles were coming out.
I need backup and I need backup now.
And I can't start this race until I get these cops off me. So yeah, then the next gen consoles were coming out, and they rebooted the game and called it Need for Speed. Basically, I heard that it was supposed to be a reboot of some kind or something. So they rebooted. I think they rebooted, or whatever the heck they did to the franchise. They just made another Need for Speed game and they called it that. I'm about to get arrested, man. Come on. Thank you. So they made another Need for Speed game and they called it that. Then they came out with Payback. That's when they and this is when the story started getting good. They came out with Payback, which was a very good story. I haven't finished it, but the story so far is very, very good. I think I don't even know where I am. I think I'm in the last parts of it. I don't know. And then, oh crap! Whew, got to. And then they came out with Need for Speed Heat, which so far is kind of boring at times because I stopped playing because it wouldn't work at one point. Then I popped the disc in the other day and it worked. So I will continue that and hopefully I will beat that one along with Payback as well. I still have that. But that's how I got into Need for Speed. But the games themselves, certain games are good and some are not. Like Need for Speed Underground 1 and 2. At the time of this video, there isn't an Underground 3, and everybody, well not everybody, but a lot of people want an Underground 3. And I think that will be really, really good. And also, somebody said something about there being a Need for Speed Carbon 2. If they make that, I will definitely get that, because Carbon was a childhood game of mine. What they should make is a Most Wanted number 2 instead of just rebooting it. That's what they did with this one. And also, Need for Speed Carbon was good. I loved that game. That was a really good game. They also had, what else did they have? So yeah, it was Need for Speed Carbon, of course. Yeah, I'm doing my best to remember. But with Need for Speed Carbon, basically you go back to this city. Basically, it starts out with you going back to the city that you were at before, which sounds like a good story. And the cars on there are actually good, even though you start out with some slow ones, some boring slow ones. Even though you start out with those, I believe it gets better later on. And the game was very, very, very fun. Now with Underground number 1 and 2, those two games, I can't remember what the heck I was doing on those, but I recently bought them again for my PS2 that I got. and I can remember and I can remember that those two games got a lot of very good reviews. And all the fans from the fans at least, I don't know what everybody else thought, but the fans said that they loved those two games and that they need to make a third one. So then after those two were done, they came out with, well, from what I've seen, I believe they came out with Need for Speed Shift. Now, some of these games I've actually, oh, here's where it is, right here. Now, some of these games I actually bought for the first time or the second time so I can actually beat them on the 360. I have other ones that are available on the 360 because I wanted to beat them, hopefully. All right, hold on. Let me get this for a minute. Whoa. Okay. Woo! Alright, let's go. The monsters have been unleashed. Oh, yeah. Man. I've forgotten how fast the cars on this game are and how awesome they look. So, yeah, they came out with Most Wanted, the first Most Wanted, way back in 2000, whatever the hell. And I remember that game being one of the best Need for Speed games ever. People said it was so damn fun. From the people that I talked to, they said that that game was one of the best ones, and that they rebooted it and made this one. This one right here was the game that I'm playing right now. I played the ever-living hell out of this game. I played this game so goddamn much, it's not even funny, man. This game is so damn fun, especially online. I used to play online all the time, man. This game was really, really, really fun. This is a game, just playing it, just playing the regular mode by yourself for all the races and stuff, that right there itself makes it fun. I don't really think anybody plays this online anymore, I don't think. But dude, this game right here is one of the best ever made to me. And now, of course they've had illegal racing, and of course they've had Hot Pursuit. And then they switched up the format of racing, and they went to a regular, like, Le Mans style type of racing game. And I just took that goddamn, I didn't mean to. So they went from illegal racing to regular racing, and they came out with Need for Speed Shift 1 and 2, and they opt for realism in both of those games, and the cops almost took me down, but I ended up taking something down. In Need for Speed Shift, when you crash into the wall, especially if you're in first person, basically the character that you are, basically the car shakes. The car shakes, the screen turns gray for a minute, and I think that's really real. If VR was a thing back then, which it probably was, but it wasn't on any other systems at that time, if we had VR back then, that is one game that I would have played in VR, because that game, when you hit something, it is so immersive and so real. And then they came out with Shift 2, which was a lot tougher, but it was still fun. Damn! This fucking cop slammed me, goddamn! Fucking head-on collision, my nigga. Damn, and I lost. I don't even know what place I was in, but I got an achievement. But yeah. Oh yeah, by the way, that person, Osmos44, that was actually me. Because I used to play this on somebody else's account before I got my own Xbox Live account and started playing it. On this system. So yeah, I actually played this with 2 accounts. But yeah. So yeah, Shift 1 and 2, those were those 2 games are when they Shift 2 Unleashed. Those are 2 games when they started to go into like real racing, like realistic racing. So they stopped the illegal racing type of thing that they did in this game, and they opted for a more real racing type of thing. Alright. right? 2.4 miles away. Okay. So so I don't know. I don't know exactly how these games came in order, but I'm gonna tell you this right. But I'm gonna tell you this right now. Basically, I don't know what order they came in, but yeah, I just have no idea. But I'll tell you this right now, they were all fun as hell. But yeah, after that, it was Need for Speed The Run. Now, Need for Speed The Run for me, I recently beat that game on the 360. That game was very, very fun. That game, I believe, had the best story mode in any Need for Speed game that I played, at the time of this video. That game, like I said before, I believe had the best story in any Need for Speed game that I have played, so far. Because the story mode on there is so good. This is about to be a spoiler alert, by the way, so skip a little bit ahead if you don't want to hear it. I don't know how long. But basically, you get chased by... I'm going the wrong way. But look at this car, though, that I can't get because it's DLC pack. Basically, you get chased by these guys. I don't know who the hell they are, but you get chased by them. And you meet this nice lady who says she can help you. She says that there's a race from San Francisco to New York, which is the opposite of the Need for Speed movie, and you have to race from San Francisco all the way to New York. You have to make up time, you have to beat racers, you have bosses, and you gotta get away from the cops and all that stuff. And the visuals in that game, especially in HD, if you have an HDMI cord on your 360, it'll look very, very good. The visuals in that game at the time was just so awesome, so pretty, so incredible. And the story was just awesome. If you win the entire thing, that lady will handle your problem for you. Also, and throughout the entire time, you're getting chased by cops. You're getting chased by the people who are chasing you. There's even a helicopter in the game that shoots at you. Yes, you actually get shot by a helicopter. You don't see that in a Need for Speed game nowadays. But that, for me, had the best story mode ever in a Need for Speed game. And then, the second best story mode is Need for Speed Payback, because that the story mode in that game so far is actually pretty good. Now, I'm not really going to say anything about that, but I will tell you one thing, that game is a really good game. I'm not going to say too much about it, but basically, you're in a group with these people who are helping you get revenge on this one girl who betrayed you, and they have an all-new car on there called the Koenigsegg Regera R, or just the Koenigsegg Regera, which is a good name for a Koenigsegg, by the way. And you actually get to drive that car, I think, twice in the game. Before the end of the game, I'm not sure, but yeah, the game looks good. The cars on there look good too. They look really good. It's fun. It's fast. So far the story is good. A cop just took me down, or even though the game said I crashed, it looked like it took me down. But the game itself is so awesome, and the story so far is really awesome. Now, Need for Speed Heat. Need for Speed Heat so far has been kind of boring. And I think the reason because of that is I haven't progressed far enough in the story to actually get to any big illegal races or any of the best cars, which is what I need to do. And I'm going to continue playing that game. And yeah. So yeah, I would do my best to continue to play that game and beat it. And I just saw a fence that I need to break, a security fence. Now for the games themselves, Need for Speed Most Wanted looks awesome, and for a game at that time, the cars were also awesome. Need for Speed Underground 1 and 2, like I said before, were two games that looked good. Carbon looked good, and it felt good, and it was really good. Carbon was just one of the best games that I've played. One of the best Need for Speed games. Now, Shift 1 and 2, they look good, and the cars on there, they slide or they drift a little bit when you make a turn, and actually, I kind of like that. I like that, that you get to slide and drift a little bit when you turn, unlike other games like Forza where you just slide all over the place, especially in Forza number 2. I mean, Forza Horizon 2. But for Need for Speed Shift, you do a little bit of like a slide mixed in with a drift, and I think that that's really I actually like that. I'm not now if you were to see cars racing in real life, I don't really think they would drift at all. But I kind of like that in the game cause I played that game long enough to know that I played that game long enough to know that that on that game, yes, the cars drift. Basically, it's a drift mixed in with a slide, and that's what I like. Basically, that's one thing that I really like about that game. Now, moving on to the next game, as I finish this race, I come in last, but I don't really give a shit. Cause yeah, that's turbulence. If I'm mumbling on my words here, I'm sorry. I'm just trying to get these words out as clear and as good as I possibly can while playing this game. Now, I already talked about Need for Speed: The Run. Now, what I haven't really talked about is this game. This game that I'm playing right now came out after Need for Speed: The Run, and this game right here is literally one of the best games that I've ever played. One of the best Need for Speed games ever. The cops on here actually get aggressive with you, which makes you have to get aggressive back, which is really good. And the cars on here, I think there are over 200 cars on here altogether, which is the most for any Need for Speed game ever from at least from what I've seen. The cars on here are the car that I used to drive the most on here. Oh my freaking goodness, man. The car that I drove on here the most. The car that I drove on here the most. It was the Lexus LFA. The Lexus LFA, oh my goodness, that was my favorite car. That is my dream car. Now, I drove that car on here the most, except for the times that I couldn't use it. Like, they have certain challenges on here where you have to use certain cars. They have some challenges on here where you had to use trucks, and they only have two types of trucks on here. There was one type of challenge on here where you had to use, was it Sunday driving cars or whatever the heck? But yeah, there was one challenge where you had to use trucks. They had Vodafone for being a Land Rover, the only two trucks on this game. There were some challenges where you had to use sports cars. Now the challenges where you could use any car that you want, I would have used the Lexus LFA. I also used the Bugatti on here as well, the Bugatti Veyron as well. But that's when I wanted to go fast. When I wanted to go fast, I would use the Bugatti on here. That's when I needed to go fast. But the car that I used on here the most was the Lexus LFA because I love the paint job that makes the car the paint job on it, of course, is white, and I like that. And I'm not gonna get that car. I like the way the car looks. It's very light, and from what I've seen from another video that I saw, they said it sounds like a Formula 1 car, and it does. But yeah, this game right here was literally one of the best ever made. Now, if we go on to Need for Speed Rivals, that game right there is not good. That game right there is one game that you do not... Okay, actually, no, I'm wrong. That game was good, but after a while, it just got too boring. Basically, they put the game in like a mountain county type of setting, and that's another thing that I don't like about the Need for Speed games. Holy shit, what the fuck? What the fuck is that? What the fuck? This is on some type of... This game is on some fucking supernatural type of shit. What the hell? I think I've seen this before in this game. It turned into a fucking rolling fucking death trap. Holy shit. Get me the fuck out of here. I gotta escape these bitches. Oh shit.
Dispatch, I'm missing a...
Yeah, lose the cops. Yeah, you damn right. After what the fuck I just seen. Holy fucking shit. I forgot that they did that. Fucking multiplied and turned into a wheel. But yeah, Need for Speed Rivals was good and fun for a good little bit until until after a while it just got too boring. It was, at some points it was repetitive. This game right here is also repetitive, but it's not in the bad way. You do the same things on here online, like a lot after a good little bit, but it never ceases. It never cease. I don't know how to say. I think I'm saying that word right. I'm not sure. But this game never stops being fun at all. Also, I used to do this all the time. Just drive off the cliff and into the water. I used to do that all the time online, and it was so fun.
All backup units, continue code 2. Attempt
And that's a T-bone takedown. But that game, after a while, it just became so repetitive that it got boring. God damn, Copper, what the fuck? Slam the hell out of me.
Suspect just lost.
I tried. These cops are not stopping. They will not. They are slamming the. Look at my fucking car. Look at this shit. I keep hitting shit. But yeah, man. Need for Speed Rivals was so. It was okay at first, but it just got too repetitive. And just like they did with Hot Pursuit, you could be a cop or a police officer, or you could just do both. Because I did both on both Hot Pursuit and Need for Speed. But Hot Pursuit was actually fun because they haven't done that in a good long time. But Rivals and Need for Speed Rivals, you get these powers that'll like stop their car. Stop the car to disable them. The police cars and your car had powers like that, some kind of weird powers, and that was actually pretty fun. It's something different. But after a while, it just got boring, and I was gonna get a DLC pack for it on my birthday, but nobody played it, so I didn't get it.
Location to coordinate search.
Now, if we move on to the game that came after that, the Need for Speed reboot, that game was okay at first, but then it was like, why am I still playing this? Because in that game, they used, damn it, Cosback, they used real people in that game in the cutscenes, which was okay at first, but then you just say to yourself, I don't want to play this anymore because I didn't exactly know where the story. I was paying attention. This is around the time where I was actually paying attention to the stories, and after a while, you just tell yourself, I don't want to play this anymore. I don't even know where the story was going, to tell you the truth. I do not know, and I still don't know. But yeah, I traded that game in, and then I was like, I hope it doesn't go downhill from here, because it started going downhill when Rivals came out. Then they made Need for Speed Payback. Now I've already talked about that game. It looks good, the story's good, and yeah. And also Need for Speed Heat. And I hope I'm not forgetting any games. I hope I'm not forgetting any of the games that I played at least.
We're going eastbound.
Pro Street. I remember. It was Pro Street, yes. Pro Street and Undercover. Need for Speed Pro Street, that game was actually fun. I was going to, another visuals on there. Regular visuals and shit, but what you do on there is different from the other Need for Speed games at the time. There's like this big racing festival, and you gotta beat all these racers and stuff. Basically, you start out with with a nice racing car to start off your racing career or whatever. And then as soon as the game starts, you basically get an enemy already. But I don't know how the rest of the game is because I haven't played it in a while. But the game was fun. It looked fun. It looked fun. The word Pro Street tells you one thing, that the game. Basically, Pro Street basically means it's basically going to test how good you are at racing. That's what the title sounds like. Are you the pro, basically? So yeah, Pro Street, yeah, that game was really fun. I just didn't play it as much, and also that's another game that I had on the PS2. I also had Need for Speed Undercover on the PlayStation 2 as well. Now that game, the story in that game, I don't know what the story in that game is, but I think they tried to be a little too real with that story. I think they were getting a little too real or a little too aggressive with the story in that game.
units report negative on grid north.
I forgot how to turn on my headlights. Yeah. But yeah, I think they were getting a little too real with the story. Oh, damn, they found me. I think they were getting a little too real with the story in that video game because when you start playing that game goes from 0 to 60 just like that. Because you start out the game, of course, and then you're basically inside a place. You don't even get to see your own place, I don't think. And then you're talking to somebody, and they said that they want you to go undercover and do some underground races. And I'm sitting there going like, what the fuck? Already? You want me? Basically, I'm sitting there thinking already they want you, already the cops need you to do something for them. And you have to basically become an illegal racer. Already.
1030 units, there's
You're not even like 30 minutes in and already you're working for the police.
roadblock is being destroyed.
But
Take your position.
the title of the game is Undercover, so that makes sense. But damn though, already. This pursuit is not stopping. I'm trying to lose them. I even tried hiding. I'll tell you, man, losing the cops on this game, sometimes it's easy, sometimes it's not. And I'm trying to lose them, but this is taking entirely too long. And I'm trying to talk at the same time, which makes it tougher. I even tried hiding. I thought that would have worked, but it didn't. I could try to hide somewhere else, but if I go up there, they're going to find me. Because they're riding my ass right now. They won't leave me alone. Okay, I'm not going to raid this roadblock. But yeah, guys, that's the history of me and the Need for Speed games that I played throughout my life. It started out on the Game Boy, and then it continued over to the. Well, it didn't start out on the Game Boy. It actually started out on the PlayStation, because that's when I got the most Need for Speed games on. Because I believe that. I don't think I was paying attention to Need for Speed at that time, but I believe I was, because I had gotten Pro Street and Undercover on there as well. So apparently I was paying attention. But I must have been smarter than I was at that time. But yeah, to me, Need for Speed is a very fun game. It's a fast-paced game. If you basically if you like illegal racing, there are many Need for Speed games out there that have that. Now, if you want to be the cop, there are I believe 2 Need for Speed games or more out there, mainly Hot Pursuit and Rivals. Now, the illegal racing, that's all the other games. But regular racing, like Le Mans type style racing, where they have different types of cars all on one track. That's Need for Speed Shift 1 and 2. Need for Speed Shift Unleashed. That's like legal racing, like regular style type of racing that you would see on TV and all that stuff. But for me, the best Need for Speed game that I've ever played is the one that I'm playing now. And no, I can't go to the airport. I don't have the DLC for that. But yeah, the best Need for Speed game that I've ever played, to me, is the one that I'm playing now, Need for Speed Most Wanted, the 2012 version. The Need for Speed that I think has the best story so far is Need for Speed okay, I lost them. Need for Speed The Run. I think that had the best story. It was so awesome. The trailer was made by Michael Bay, and the trailer was so awesome. I think they had 2 trailers on there that I liked, and I could literally watch those trailers like all the time, or I could, hold on, there comes here. I don't want to get chased again. But yeah, the trailers on car. Can't get it DLC. Can't get it DLC. But yeah, the trailers for Need for Speed The Run are actually pretty awesome, especially the one that's made by Michael Bay. It really tells you what you're going to get into, what you're going to see, how awesome the game is going to be. The trailers for that game are just awesome. But yeah, the best game to me, the best Need for Speed game to me is this one. The one that has the best story is The Run. The one that has the best visuals, I believe, is still, I want to say, the reboot of Need for Speed. It has the best, visuals, especially when it rains. Only when it rains. And that's the thing. For Need for Speed, for the reboot of Need for Speed, the sun only came out like halfway. The only time when the sun comes out is when you see when you see a sunset. But the game was literally only at nighttime, and that's one thing that I didn't like about that game. It was only at nighttime, like seriously. That's one thing that I didn't like about that game. But in the brand new one, Need for Speed Heat, you can switch from day or night, and that's one thing that I really, really like, because you can choose your time now. Also, I don't think they should put I don't think they should limit Need for Speed games to those big mountains and county settings and stuff, because that's what they did with Rivals. Now, Need for Speed Hot Pursuit, that game being in the county, that was actually good, because that you had more space than you did in Rivals. But there were some parts of Hot Pursuit and Rivals that that I didn't like. They shouldn't really have those type of woods settings. Now, you had that in the Run, but that was a certain type of game where you had to drive all throughout America, which I liked, which makes up for that. But everything that you see, like all of that you see over there, all the mountains, I can't exactly show you because my car is leaning. But yeah, all those mountains, I don't think they should limit you to just that. For me, I like driving in Need for Speed games in the city. That's what I like. I'm a city person. You see all those mountains over there? That's what they shouldn't limit you to in these games, because I think they can have the mountains, they can put the mountains in these games, that's okay. But can they at least give you a huge city like they do in this one, where you have more than enough room? It's basically like a huge playground when you're in the city, to me. But for Need for Speed Payback, they didn't have enough city. They had a little bit of city and a lot of county. That's what I didn't like. It was, I believe it was set in Las Vegas, and you didn't even get to drive around. I don't think you got to drive around all of Las Vegas or whatever. But I tell you one thing, in the Need for Speed reboot, they had a bunch of parts of the city in the background that you didn't even get to go to, which is what I hated. And I did it. I used to hit that thing all the time. And the challenges on here were fun though. You had to get big air, had to do drifts, had to do a bunch of stuff. The challenges on here were fun too, especially when you're online. But yeah, guys, that's the history of me and Need for Speed, and a little bit of history of Need for Speed. The best one to me is this one that I'm playing, Need for Speed Most Wanted, the 2012 version, not the one before that, but the one before that is good too. The one that had the best story is Need for Speed The Run. And the one that has the best visuals is the newest one, Need for Speed Heat, because the visuals when you before you even press start, you can already tell that that game looks good, because you see the cars drifting and driving, and the ground is all wet and slick when it rains. It looks good. It's like you're playing the reboot of Need for Speed again, but it's just different. And I think Need for Speed reboot only looked good when it rained, honestly. But the one that looks the best so far is Need for Speed Heat, and I think, and if they keep, and actually now that games are going in 4K at this time, they're going to continue to look better, hopefully. Basically, that's going to be it for today, you guys. I just wanted to give you a little bit of history on me playing Need for Speed, well, my history of Need for Speed. And I hope you guys enjoy. And now the next time I'm going to give you a little bit of history on racing games in general. That's going to be the next video. It might be the next one, it might not be, but it will happen. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed, and make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and share with everybody that you know and love. It really helps out the channel. Hope you all enjoyed, and I will see you all next time. Alright, see ya.